Hello, guys. Welcome on Instagram and Facebook land. I am joining you today with an impromptu live because I just felt like it. I just felt inspired to share this with you guys. So, I've been doing some work on manifestation and learning okay, what is it that it actually takes to create the things we want to see in our lives? And oh, hey, Shadow friend, welcome. So, manifestation is what I'm going to be talking about today. And I just felt really inspired to share this with you guys. So, I thought I would just hop on for a short live. And if you're watching this live or in the replay, I'd love for you guys to drop in the comments where you're watching this from. It's just so cool to feel you in all the different parts of the world, this big, beautiful planet that we get to inhabit, that we get to share, get to be in a body and have this experience of life. Like, how cool is that? Like, when was the last time you took a really deep breath and just thought about how freaking cool it is to have a body and how it is a mathematical miracle? They've crunched the numbers. It's a mathematical miracle that you exist, that I exist, that any of us exist. And so to defy such odds to exist in a body, what a freaking cool thing that we get to experience. And yeah, and that's not always great. Sometimes it's really hard to be in a body. I'm sure we have all been through an experience when it's been hard to be in a body when we're born. For instance, when we come into the world, our first experience coming into the world, it's a lot. It's intense. It's overwhelming. And then there's just lots of other things that can happen. And so the body can almost feel like this place that doesn't feel entirely safe to be in. But it's good to remember and just take those moments and take those deep breaths that, wow, I have a body. I am consciousness experiencing life in physical form. How freaking amazing is that? And thinking about all the things that you get to do in physical form that you couldn't do just as pure energy and consciousness. So some of the things that I love about being in a body is coffee. I don't drink a lot of it right now because I'm healing my gut, but it's there. It's waiting for me when I'm ready. I find coffee very grounding, very earthy, very sensual, and very connected. And I love all of those qualities that I feel with coffee. I usually drink decaf, by the way, Swiss water decaf, because I'm sensitive and I don't need a lot of caffeine. Welcome, Andrew, Panther, and Cosmic. Welcome, everybody. So, what is it that you love about having a body? Chocolate is another thing I very much appreciate, again, for its grounding, sensual experience, the feeling of connectedness in my heart, for the oozy, milky, silky, melting feeling of pleasure that I feel radiate through my whole being when I have chocolate. And if you are a chocolate lover, you get it. If you're not, that's okay. I forgive you. We all have our things. Breath, being able to breathe. And this is something that a lot of us can feel disconnected from, is the breath. But there's so much power that you have in your breath. And I know I came on planning to talk about manifestation. I'm going to get there, but I'm just feeling called to go into this first, being in the body. Your breath is like the most powerful tool that you have. It is what will rapidly change your mental, emotional, physical state. Your breath is where your spirit meets your body. It's that inspiration and that inhale. It's the exhalation of release. And you need to have that balance, the ebb and flow. Everything in nature and in life is about balance. We can't only inhale. We can't only exhale. We can't only give. We can't only receive. Your breath is one of the most powerful tools for your whole being to heal, to shift states, to ground, to focus, to release. And if it feels hard to breathe, maybe the breath has been stuck for a while. This happens to a lot of us. The diaphragm can get stuck, and we don't know how to breathe deep into our diaphragm. If you just practice breathing deeply into your belly as you inhale, letting it naturally collapse as you exhale, you can begin opening this up again. Breath is a powerful tool, and that's something that I love about being alive. When I breathe, when I really breathe, I feel so alive. And sometimes it's a question of how alive are you willing to let yourself feel? Because there can be a feeling of vulnerability in deep aliveness, because you're deeply present. You're right here. You're in this body through thick or thin. Being alive is about feeling the good, about witnessing, about not pushing away the painful, but feeling that too. But when you witness and feel this, it can move through you, and you can welcome in the good and feel that too. Because when we don't feel comfortable in the full depth of our aliveness, that's when we begin to numb. That's when we begin to feel depression. And it's a disconnect, a disassociation from the depth of our whole being. Because when we shut down the painful emotions, we shut down the pleasurable ones too. We shut down sadness. We also shut down joy. So being alive is about making the choice to feel it all. Doesn't mean you have to feel it all at once. Our mind is really good at the drip release. Taking moments to feel. And when we feel emotion coming on, don't push it away. Don't be ashamed of it. It's not weakness, it's aliveness. It's part of being alive. It's messages from your soul. It's part of this experience of being human, of being alive, of being in a body. If we try to push emotion away or see it as weakness, we're denying a part of our own essence and our own being, a part of a natural mechanism like breathing that's meant to be continuously ebbing and flowing through us. And if we block that flow because we're afraid of it, or because we've received imprinting about it being wrong or weak, especially if you're a man, if you've received that imprinting, you shouldn't feel your emotions, a lot of men have, then a part of us is disconnected. A part of us is not able to flow through us and be expressed through us. And so, of course, we're going to feel more numb. Of course, we're not going to feel as lit up because we're not allowing the depth of our being to be alive. And so, how do you come back into aliveness when that happens? And that's a journey of letting go and recognizing what you need to let go of. And that you do with support. You can find a lot of amazing aha moments in self-reflection and meditation, in nature, and I have, and that is part of my practice, but I also 100% work with people who are outside of me because I have blind spots. I have the thoughts within myself, my being, but when there's someone else I work with who can be a witness, sometimes a witness outside of you is just the most healing thing that you need in that moment, to be seen and heard. And a guide so that I can fully relax into the experience of letting go. Because if I have to think consciously about what to do next, I'm not letting go. I'm not in my inner awareness. I'm not in my subconscious awareness. And that's where the deep shifting and healing happens. So having a guide who can walk me through that is such a powerful thing. I find for my journey and the journey I see others on who do well, it is a balance of personal practice, of using the tools that you have to keep yourself flowing, to keep yourself connecting with life. And not that there isn't going to be hard times, no matter how much work you do, there are going to be challenges. That is just part of being on earth because we have in the collective consciousness these wounds of enough, I'm not good enough, not worthy, scarcity. Even if you clear it out of every single part of your being, it is floating around you. So when we all become free is when that changes. But until then, you do your inner work and you maintain the practice to stay strong in your own truth. And having support, having community, having a guide that is not inside of your own head is so powerful. It is so healing to move you through these things faster. And so I started off this live saying, I'm going to talk about manifestation. And I am. I've just been on a bit of a tangent. But when we bring it into what is it that you want to create in your life? Maybe you are a healer and you want to help others to heal. Maybe you are creative. Maybe you are an artist and you want to share this inspiration with others. You want to share beauty with the world. You want to express from your soul and allow creativity to flow through you. You want to have connection, beautiful, intimate relationships. You want to have abundance and wealth in your life consistently in a way that you aren't fearing that it's going to go away. How do you do that? How do some people do that and it seems so hard for others? And there's a few pieces to this, but from what I've distilled down when I've gotten to the deepest cores that I've been finding in it is our natural state is these things that we want. Our natural state is abundance, is expression, is creativity, is helping. That is natural. When I'm in my flow, I can feel that this is me, this is my rhythm, this is my natural state. And when I'm not, it's painful because there's something blocking that natural flow, that natural rhythm that wants to move through me. And this happens lots. It happens with, I think, everybody. We move into what we're drawn to, but then we hit a wall. And it feels restrictive. It feels heavy. Maybe you feel a heaviness or a pain in your chest, a weight on your shoulders. Maybe it's a headache. Maybe it's a numbness or a gripping fear of not knowing what to do next or that life will take care of you. When that flow becomes blocked, that is what prevents us from creating what we want to create in our life. So what blocks that flow? What blocks the flow is the pain that we've experienced in this body. And that doesn't mean just physical abuse or violation, although it absolutely can. It also means moments when we didn't feel safe, when we didn't feel like we were enough, like we were worthy. It could be moments when our parents were fighting and we didn't feel safe. We didn't feel like we were capable of healing them because we were just little. We made it mean something about us. Why am I not good enough? Why do they have to fight? Why am I not loved? I must not be lovable. Why wasn't I chosen to play with my friends? I must not be wanted. Why was my big sister so mean to me when I came into the world? Oh, I must not be wanted or lovable. We didn't know when we were little that those people around us had all of their own stuff going on. That the big sister was heartbroken because now they were no longer the only child. That the parents fighting had their own wounds from when they were kids and when their parents were kids, and that ancestral line going back of this dysfunction between love and relationship that gets passed down ancestrally, creating feelings of this is what a relationship looks like, whether or not I'm lovable, whether or not I'm worthy, whether or not I'm safe. And then we have the past life stuff, which is a whole other kettle of fish. These are the things that block us from the natural flow that wants to move through us, from embodying our authentic expression of love, of creativity, of connection, of abundance. These things are our natural state. Everything in nature grows and evolves unless it is blocked. A tree will grow up unless something blocks it, and then we'll have to find a way to twist around that block and figure a way to go up. And you'll find a way, but it will be kind of knotted and gnarly. Happens to us too. We adapt. We're highly adaptable, resilient beings. But in our adapting, we're still carrying these wounds. We're still feeling the imprints of what was blocking us that we had to twist around and mold ourselves to in order to survive. And so we carry these things with us for lifetimes, carry these things with us until we are ready to release them. And some of these things aren't even ours. Like I mentioned in the collective consciousness, I heard yesterday a really beautiful quote. It's in the soil. So in a collective consciousness on earth, there are these wounds in the psyche around worthiness, around scarcity throughout so many generations where there wasn't enough food to survive or shelter. This just goes back so far, you guys. And it lingers in the land, it lingers in the air, it lingers in our DNA. And so as you release these things from yourself, you will still feel them on the periphery. They're still out there. That's why we continue the practice of doing the work of awareness, of cultivating what feels authentic and alive and free to you, and cultivating community to hold that frequency with you. It's part of the practice. But when you go and you release these wounds from your own experiences, from your own ancestral lineages, then it is no longer yours. You no longer identify with it. You can see it floating around in the atmosphere like a cloud, but it doesn't belong to you anymore. Maybe there'll be unconscious moments where it begins to slip in, and then you recognize it and you've done the work on it, and you can say, oh, not signing up for that one. I've been there. I've released that. That's not my lesson to learn anymore. And it's when we do this that we begin really shifting and embodying our natural energy and our authentic selves. So this is really what's going to take you to where you want to be, to what you want to create in your life. Sorry, I have Spotify playing music in the background downstairs, so I'm going to pause it. It's distracting me. Perfect. So when you release these blocks to what you want to create in your life, what's left over is you, this natural, authentic you. And that part of you has always been there waiting to be given permission to be expressed, to be felt, to be breathed into your body, to move with your body. And this is about experiencing pleasure, about the body not just being a place where pain happens, but you have to have the courage to breathe into the body and feel the pain that's been stuffed down there in order to really feel the pleasure too. And so what does pleasure look like? It doesn't have to be coffee or chocolate. Pleasure is breath. It is aliveness in the cells. It is movement. Have you tried playing music and just letting your body move you and seeing where your body wants to move you and how it wants to express itself? The body has its own innate intelligence. It is its own living organism. You are the consciousness inhabiting it for this life, but it is also its own intelligence. So let your body show you what feels good. Let your body show you what pleasure looks like, not the mind. The mind hijacks the body too much, especially in our society. We think we know what something is, and we don't even give that thing a chance to answer. Don't do that. Let your body show you what it wants through movement, through breath, through maybe going outside and being in water or sun or the earth or the wind, being with the elements. Maybe you're drawn to a certain element. Maybe water, showers are very healing to you. Maybe, sitting in the sun is very healing to you. Let your body show you through the sensations of pleasure what it is that you need. And you can do this with other pieces too. The feeling of pleasure when it comes to an idea, something you want to create in your life. The feeling of pleasure when it comes to connecting with others, when it comes to what foods you want to eat, what you want to put into your body. When you think about doing that, any of those things, how does it feel in your body? And if you're like, I have no effing clue, okay, that is information. It's time to begin practicing getting into your body. Because that is where you're going to find your wisdom, or your discernment, or your inner guidance, your pleasure, as well as pain. But that's part of feeling, so you can move through it. That is part of your aliveness. That is where you're going to find you. You're going to find you as you go deeper into your body, as you become embodied. So, what does being embodied have to do with manifestation? If you are not embodied, hey Ash, welcome, and Conversations with Self. If you are not embodied, then how are you going to know what you even want in your life? If you are not present in your body, how are you going to recognize when pleasure is there? If you're not embodied, how are you going to access your intuition, your inner knowing, your discernment? Being embodied is the first step. If we bypass that step, we're never going to be able to fully integrate on the depths of our wholeness, of this experience of life. And that's really what this is about, because your energy, your consciousness, you can float around in the astral plane and the atmosphere anytime, but you're not always going to be in a body. That's what this experience on earth is about, being in this body and bringing your divine self to it, being your higher self embodied, and allowing that to be expressed through you, to bring light into the world, to bring healing to the collective. And it's really effing fun too. It's really amazing to meet yourself in that place of wholeness. Not to say that there aren't other things that come up, that it's a one and done deal. It doesn't work like that. There are deep layers of healing and shifting that will change things for you for the rest of your life. But love is a practice. Self-love is a practice. And the practice is meant to be continued, just like your breath. You don't inhale and exhale once. It is part of being here. And when you find that flow and that rhythm, it becomes a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to feel so hard all the time. And so manifestation is about believing that you are worthy and deserving of it, but believing on every single level that it is safe to have and create what you want. Be that sharing your gifts, be that creating abundance, be that healing. As crazy as that might sound, you may consciously want all of those things, but if on some subconscious level, any part of you doesn't believe it is safe or that you are worthy of it, you will self-sabotage. There will be energetic blocks, there will be resistance, there will be fatigue, there will be confusion. It is not about pushing to get through that. It is about shifting what comes up. And when you shift what comes up, then you can flow forward and move into what you're meant to create, because everybody here on this planet has a destiny, has their own original medicine, and your being here is significant. Even if it doesn't feel like that, it is. Nobody else can be you. Nobody else has the medicine, the gifts that only you know how to share, that only you can share by being the truest expression of your authentic self, by being alive, embodied, connected. This is what it means to be lit up. This is about letting yourself feel pleasure and letting yourself feel the wounds of the past so that you can effectively move through them. You don't have to hang out in them. This is not about hanging out in them. But if we don't deal with them, that's exactly what we do. If we don't deal with the pain from the past that blocks our expression, then it continues to be there in our field. It doesn't go anywhere. And it might kind of go dormant and out of our awareness until something triggers it and it pops back up. So refusing to deal with it only guarantees that it's going to keep circulating and re-triggering you over and over again for years or lifetimes. Healing it doesn't have to be sitting in it, putting salt in it. That's not what it's about. It's about bringing compassion to it, about bringing light to it, about realizing your own innocence in it, but the forgiveness available to you. And having a safe space, a sacred space to do that is so important. And having a guide to do that, to help you walk through that, is so important so that you can be held and let go and be guided. This is where I've grown along with my personal practice. And when the times when I really get stuck on it, I'm like, I don't want to do my personal practice. That's when my stuff is really getting loud. When I'm about to go through another growth phase and I'm being shown these things that need to be healed. Because before it feels like growth, it usually feels like compression. Because you're bumping into your growth edge. You're bumping into the things that need to be released in order for you to get to that next level. So it usually just feels like shit in the beginning. There's a desire, a want, and then all of the stuff. Oh, I'm not worthy of that. Oh, can I have that? It's not possible. All of that stuff. And that's compression. So growth doesn't always feel expansive and easy and light. That's what's on the other side of doing the work. And the work doesn't have to always be hard. It can be beautiful. It can be loving. It can even be pleasurable as you learn to come back into your pleasure in your body and let that fuel you too, to let your body be a vessel of pleasure and not just pain. Hey, Ashley. Yeah. Conversations with Self, Snug Life. Yeah. So let me know if this is resonating with you guys. I felt really inspired just to share this, the flow that wants to come through me today. And just know that what you are seeking, as Rumi said, what you're seeking is seeking you. And if you feel a calling, that is your soul saying, hey, there's more to uncover. Don't give up on that. Don't give up on that. You can uncover it, but you might need help. You know, as Einstein said, you all know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's not what we want to do. You want to work with those who can help you, be in the community of those who can support you, and let yourself feel in your body if that aligns, if you resonate. There's a different medicine for different people. Some people are meant to work with other people in this planet. It's like a soul agreement. And if you are someone who's meant to be a healer or feel called to share your gifts in whatever way, be that writing, be that creating a business, be that actually being a facilitator, there are people who are waiting for you to move through what you're needing to move through and share that. They're waiting for you to share it with them. And if you don't share it, we never get to see it. And I feel like that is one of the biggest tragedies that could ever happen, is to go through the work of being born, of growing up, figuring out how to live in a body, and then not sharing what you came here to share. This is like the last step. Finish the damn marathon. Finish the last mile. Keep going. But get some help if you're stuck. Okay? So I love you guys. And if you want support, if you're feeling called to get some support in what you're meant to be doing, Medicine Within is open now. This is a 3-month healing container where you are held in a safe and sacred space, where we come together as a community to heal, and you receive one-on-one support, because I know how powerful that is too. And I know that we need both. We need community and we need personalized support to move through the big pieces. If you are feeling called, if you feel that calling in your bones to something more, even if you don't yet know what that is, but you feel it inside you, you know you're meant for more, don't give up on that. Your mind will try to stop you. Your mind will try to keep you in the familiarity of discomfort, of limitations. Your mind will try to keep you safe by holding you in what it knows, even if what it knows is limitation, is restriction. contraction. You have to have the courage to move through that and believe in that calling that you feel and trust in that calling just enough until you begin pushing through the layers and the pieces. But the biggest leap of faith is in the beginning, where you need to take that step forward and believe in yourself and believe in what you've come here to do. So, yeah, actually, I find it hard to remember and do the work without community. 100%. I'm the same way. We are communal beings. We are social beings. And when we are in a community, we are sharing in the frequency of the members of that community. And there is a collective frequency that is created within that container. And so if there's a place you're trying to step into, it takes others to hold that frequency with you. Maybe you listen to podcasts, you've been so lit up and like, yeah, I can do this. And then you've hung out with different people who are not in that field. And all of a sudden it feels so far away. And what was I thinking again? What was it I wanted to do? No, that's crazy. To be in that frequency and have support in holding the frequency of what you're meant to step into next, holding the frequency of love, of connection, of healing, of growth, of finding your path and following your path. Hey, Tina, welcome. Feeling that I don't want to do the work right now. I've been going back to, and that's what'll happen, right? When we don't feel like we want to do the work, we go back to those old mechanisms. But it's the feeling like you don't want, what I found for me, feeling like I don't want to do the work, it's not my deepest, most authentic self. It's not my wise adult in the seat in that moment. It is the part of me that had to adapt to survive, that had to find ways to mold myself to find survival. And when I'm in that seat, the only thing I care about is survival. I don't care about connection. I don't care about growth. I don't care about expansion. And it's a place of frustration and overwhelm. And when I'm in that place, I find support from outside of me through community. It could be through finding a guide, through finding the right community, or even listening to a podcast that's inspiring, or listening to a meditation, just something to help move you through it. But that is also external support. Cool. So if you feel a call, like I said, Medicine Within is open until the end of next week. If you're curious about if this could be right for you, whether or not you are a healer or you're looking to heal, or you're feeling stuck in creating what you want to create in your life, send me a DM. We can talk about if this is a good fit, or drop learn more in the comments. And I'd be happy to talk with you about it. And just here to remind you that I love you. You are worthy, and it is a freaking miracle to be in a body. So let it be fun. This life is meant to be fun. So let yourself find those ways to live fully, to be fully alive if you don't already feel that way. Okay? Sending you my love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on Earth. Talk to you soon.